Greetings. Does your family need you to be more certain? What's up? It's Deborah. Happy Wednesday to you. And what I wanted to ask today was really for you to look inside a little bit and see if there are places where you're um, faking it till you make it, um, and not noticing what the repercussions or the ripple effect of that is. So, oftentimes, as leaders, we are the ones that are looked up to. We are the ones that set an example. We are models. And that's not just in our businesses, that's also in our families. It's also with our friends. In a lot of ways, because we have taken on the role of leader, which, by the way, anyone can do, it doesn't matter what your title is, but it's just about how you're showing up. Because we've taken on this role as leader, we've started to be looked up to in such a way that sometimes it's hard for us to just say, I'm having a hard time. I want to give you a really simple and personal experience of this. This happened to me even recently, with someone with whom I was a business partner. And when I was having my breakdown or my meltdown, it was perceived in a way like, you're not supposed to be like that. You're supposed to be the leader. You're supposed to have it together. You're supposed to always be positive. You're supposed to always have the answers, and you're supposed to always kind of like pick yourself back up and not share too much of what you're feeling or what you're experiencing. And I fundamentally disagree with this mindset, because this is what traps leaders in positions of um, not feeling like they can own that they made mistakes, not feeling like they can own that they feel overwhelmed, not feeling like they can own that they struggle with certain things. So, what ends up happening when we're in this society and in this culture and in this mindset and paradigm where we're not allowed to make mistakes, where we're expected to always have the answers, or where we're expected to there's like acceptable mistakes and unacceptable mistakes. And I'm like, yeah, okay, you're human, right? So, to prevent the big stuff from happening, from a car company manufacturing a car with a known defect and allowing people to drive around with bad emissions or with faulty brakes, to prevent those kinds of things from happening, you've got to allow leaders to be able to say, Uncle, um, I need some space. I need some help. I'm overwhelmed. This is too much for me. I don't know what I'm doing. There needs to be safe spaces to do that. And I just don't see enough of those. Personal experience, and even for my clients as well. So, what I really want to do in this post, and maybe it didn't sound like that from the beginning, but I really want to give you the space to understand that you don't want to fake it. You want to genuinely feel certain from inside. You don't want to be faking it and trying to pretend that you're fine or that everything is fine if it's not. So, how do you do that when you don't have safe spaces? Well, this is exactly why I've created the community that I created. It's free online for purpose driven leaders, for mavericks to come in and be able to breathe, to be able to get inspired and not to feel like they have to have all of the answers, to have a space where other people see things differently as well. So you don't have to feel like you're always explaining yourself, but you can just actually enjoy connecting with others. So that's one thing. And if you're serious about really up leveling your leadership, then I highly recommend that you join our free community. But beyond that, you want to actually learn how to build certainty in such a way that it's independent of other people's opinions. And the paradox of that, or the irony of that, or the juxtaposition of that, is that it makes it such that you are okay with people not being okay with your not okayness. I'm going to say that one more time. You're okay with other people not being okay with your not okayness. So, in the situation that I mentioned to you at the beginning, I realized that whatever discomfort that person was feeling was that person's discomfort. I didn't need to then play small, shrink down, stop sharing what I was discovering or feeling, maybe not with that person, but in general. I didn't need to stop doing that because that person felt uncomfortable. Instead, I needed to almost speak louder, because if something was inside of me that needed to be expressed, it needed to be expressed. And yes, we want to be considerate of other people, and yes, we want to make sure that we're doing our best to lift up and not tear down. However, no one is always in the know. No one always has the right answers, and no one knows everything. So, this whole idea of leaders having to portray something, I'm not with it. And I don't think that there should be places where you're like, okay, I need to filter and protect myself from, or protect these other people from what's really going on with me. I believe that every leader, especially a disruptor, needs to be able to create a world, create a way of working, create a way of relating with other people that is authentic and that is unfiltered, so that they can come up with the genius, they can come up with the ideas, they can come up with the things that they are here to contribute, because filtering prevents that from real, like, it stunts the creative process, it stunts the innovations, it stunts everything when we've got a filter. I think a couple of weeks ago I shared a quote from Sergey Brin where he mentioned that rules stifle innovation, right? So the more rules you have, the less you're able to innovate. And these are basically just rules in society. um, Vishen Lakhiani calls them rules, right? These are things that people have made up and have made everyone conform to, that don't even necessarily align with human nature. Okay, so these are the things that we want to let go of. So there's two parts to what I just shared with you today. The first part is to recognize that um, there's always going to be an impact for how you're feeling. No one knows everything. And then the second thing is to really understand that you need to be able to set up a way of being and a way of leading where you can be yourself, where you can speak up and say, I don't know, I'm confused, I'm overwhelmed, I need help, I need support. You need to be able to create that. Otherwise, you're going to continuously put yourself in situations where you're not performing at your best, where you're not leading at your best, and where you're not present for the people who need you the most, and they will feel that will impact them in a way that I don't think you want. So, to wrap up today, really make sure that you start to tell yourself a different story about yourself. Give yourself a new story. Give yourself permission to say, it's okay for me not to know. It's okay for me to have questions. It's acceptable to me, for me, to be not okay with something. That's the first step, right? The second thing is to find spaces like our free community where you can be honest and transparent and safe to share exactly what's going on for you, or at least to be around other people who are accepting of you where you are and not expecting you to put on a face and to play a role that society has decided for us. And third, you want to constantly be building certainty from within. So I've been talking about this every way. If there's ever been a year where the need for building certainty from within has become glaring, it's been 2020, right? We've had continuous barrage of uncertainties. So my recommendation for you is to join our free community. Raise your hand to sign up for our free challenge, 4 days of absolute certainty. We're going to dive into the mechanics of how to build certainty from within very quickly, and then how to maintain it over the long term. All right, so much love. Enjoy your Wednesday. See ya.